My family always believed success should be loud. Big houses, flashy cars, designer clothes, a constant scoreboard of who is winning at life. I never played that game. At family gatherings, I was quiet. No stories of deals, no vacations to boast about. I drove an old truck and wore the same worn jacket I'd had for years. They called it simple, sometimes sad. Behind my back, sometimes to my face, they whispered that I hadn't amounted to much. Military service was honorable, yes, but not profitable, they said. I didn't argue. In the service, I learned early that not every insult deserved a response. Silence was a weapon as much as any uniform I wore. Then came my sister's engagement. The dinner was buzzing with talk of wealth, careers, and plans. Someone turned to me, smiling politely. "What are you doing these days?" "I'm still serving," I said simply. A few chuckles followed. Someone whispered that I must still be struggling. Another joked about dessert. I stayed quiet. They didn't know what I'd carried. The nights I'd spent flying missions no one would ever hear about. The jets no one would ever see. The responsibilities measured not in profit, but in lives. I never talked about it. Trust is silent. And that silence, tonight, would speak louder than any boast ever could. The room thought I was ordinary, but they were about to see how extraordinary trust can be. The engagement dinner continued, chatter filling the air, silverware clinking, laughter bouncing off the walls. I stayed quiet, sipping water, watching faces that thought they knew me. Then my sister's fiancé leaned back in his chair, casual, unaware of the storm he was about to unleash. "Funny thing," he said, glancing at me. "I heard your name mentioned at the airbase. They said one of the jets there belongs to you." The table froze. Conversations halted mid-sentence. A nervous laugh broke somewhere near the breadbasket. Eyes darted toward me, calculating, confused. I didn't correct him. I didn't explain. The truth was simpler and heavier than they imagined. It wasn't my jet. It was my responsibility. I let the silence stretch, long and tense, like the moments before a storm breaks. Finally, I spoke, calm but carrying the weight of everything I'd done. "I don't own it. I fly it when the country needs me to. No laughter. No applause. Only a shift in the air. A recalibration in their eyes." For the first time, my family saw me differently, not with amusement, not with pity, but with a hesitant respect. Success isn't always visible. Some build wealth, others are entrusted with responsibility that can't be measured in dollars. They thought silence meant failure. They had no idea the real power I carried was invisible, and it was about to speak louder than anyone could imagine. That night, after the engagement dinner, I sat alone in my old truck, engine humming softly. The city lights flickered across the windshield, but my thoughts were elsewhere, high above, in the skies I had navigated, in missions that never made headlines. No one knew the full extent of my service. Long-range flights across continents, missions in silence and secrecy, decisions weighed in lives, not money. Every jet I piloted, every operation I oversaw, was a responsibility I bore with precision. The kind of responsibility that never came with applause. I remembered the faces of those I'd flown to safety, the weight of knowing that a single error could cost everything. That kind of trust doesn't come with medals or recognition. It comes with discipline, patience, and restraint. Meanwhile, my family had always mistaken quietness for weakness, simplicity for failure. They measured success by possessions, bragging rights, and social appearances. I had measured mine by the lives I protected, the trust others placed in me, and the integrity I never compromised. The revelation at dinner had changed something. For the first time, they couldn't dismiss me with a joke or a whisper. They glimpsed a truth they had never considered, that power, responsibility, and achievement don't always announce themselves with fanfare. And in that quiet realization, I felt a subtle shift, an inner satisfaction. I had never needed validation from them, but seeing their recalculated expressions was almost rewarding. They finally understood that what I carried couldn't be bought and couldn't be stolen. But this story doesn't end in silence. The real lesson, the full proof of strength, is yet to come. Weeks passed, but the memory of that engagement dinner lingered. At family gatherings afterward, the whispers had stopped. The polite jabs about my old truck and worn jacket faded into silence. It wasn't loud confrontation that changed them, it was the quiet revelation of responsibility and trust. I continued my service, missions and duties far removed from their world of flashy displays. I didn't boast, didn't seek recognition. And yet, each time I flew, each time I handled a mission, I felt the satisfaction of a life measured by impact, not applause. My family started to see it slowly. Not fully, perhaps, but enough. Enough to respect the weight of what I carried, to understand that some achievements can't be displayed on a tablecloth at an engagement dinner. Some victories are invisible, entrusted to those who can hold them without fanfare. That night, I looked around my quiet home, old truck parked outside, medals tucked away, memories of flights and missions alive in my mind. I realized that true success isn't about proving something to anyone. It's about knowing your own value, honoring your responsibilities, and carrying them with integrity. I had won not by wealth, not by applause, but by living a life of trust, courage, and unwavering purpose. And for the first time, the quiet one at the family table felt the peace of lasting respect. Sometimes, the loudest victories are the ones no one hears. And sometimes, the most powerful lives are the ones lived quietly, but with unshakable strength.